And tonight we are going to focus on some yoga postures, so physical postures of yoga, and some breath work that is really good to help with sleep. Before we get to that, one of the most important things that I can share with you is that really what's happening in your mind is going to be the main reason why you sleep well or why you don't sleep well. For the majority of people, falling asleep is not the issue. More people have difficulty staying asleep. And if you wake up in the middle of the night and you have to get up and go to the washroom, part of the problem is usually then getting back to sleep. And normally what keeps you from falling back to sleep is all of this stuff that starts running through your head. Keep in mind, one of the most important things you can ever learn about how your brain works is that your brain can't tell the difference between real life, a memory, or something that you're imagining. And every time we have a thought, chemicals are released throughout our body so that we can respond to whatever the stimulus is. So if you see, as I was saying, I'm listening to this great talking book about Sasquatches, which is really scary. And so for me, if I saw a Sasquatch, which I have not, but if I did, I'd be really, really scared. And my body would flood with cortisol and a stress hormone. But thinking about seeing a Sasquatch and listening to a scary book, and my brain is imagining that, it's kind of the same reaction. In fact, it is the same reaction. So I'm releasing cortisol. So that's in my system, and then my dog growls in the middle of the night, and I jump up and I think something horrible is happening, and then guess who's having trouble getting back to sleep? This gal. So if that is your life, the first step that you can take is to try and calm those thoughts. And when you figure out how you can calm your mind, then I will hand the class over to you to teach, because that's a tough one. So I always go to the next best option, which is distraction. So tonight we're going to focus on some breath work, and we're going to focus on some physical postures that you can try that should get you ready for a good night's sleep. And then God forbid you should wake up and have a moment of panic or whatever is happening. You'll have a few techniques, hopefully, to ease you back into a restful sleep. So this will be a gentle practice. It's nice to have cushions around. And a lot of this you could actually do in your bed. And I thought about doing a class from my bed, and then I just thought that's probably just crossing that line into complete weirdness that you don't need to be a part of. So you're welcome. Maybe in a few months, but not yet. That would really get some fan mail, I'm sure. Okay, so we're gonna start tonight actually in a seated posture, which you guys are already sitting, so I thank you for that. And of course, super important to, I'm just gonna change my view here. It's super important to be comfortable when you are sitting. So I'm sitting on a cushion. You can see I've got quite the collection here. I've kind of rated them from all around the house. And you just want to find whichever one is comfortable. And again, keeping in mind that, and I think I was talking about this on Monday during our practice, the reason we do the physical postures of yoga is to kind of get the sillies out, to get our bodies kind of free of that additional energy so we can start to peace out and let go. So we're going to do a few little practices first. If sitting like this is not your thing, you can try the philosopher's pose, which looks like this. And if that doesn't work for you, just lie on the floor and it doesn't matter. Or sit on your sofa. You're at home, it's good. You can do whatever you like. So just get comfortable and don't worry about too much formality just yet, but notice where your shoulders are. And if they're up here, put them down. And then I want you to start to think about a little bit of motion in the body. And a little bit of a deeper breath. And if the motion is not your jam, you don't have to do it. To me, it's a little bit more like a stim, and it's very soothing. You can just start with your head, a little bit of shoulder to shoulder. Maybe give the shoulders a little bit of a roll as well. So before I jump into an intentional practice, which is what a sleep, preparation practice is, this is intentional. This is not accidental. So one of the first things I like to do in a situation like this is just do a really quick review of my day. Because the things that are going to bug you in the middle of the night are the things that you haven't made peace with. So I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes for a moment. And again, try and keep that breath nice and deep, nice and fluid. In and out through the nose if you can. And just take a moment and journey back in time and think about how you felt this morning when you first woke up. And then just quickly think about the day you had, and you don't have to go through all the details, but just get a sense, kind of, most of us are going to respond right away and say either it was a good day or it was a challenging day, it was uplifting, glad it's over. Whatever your experience was, just tap into that for a moment. If your day was amazing, see if you can pinpoint and target the one thing that really made it special. And I want you to hold that not only in your mind, but hold that in your heart. And for those of us who might have had a more challenging day, and I had a bit of both, which is mostly my days. But if you had challenges in your day, just pull that out for a moment. Just see it, feel it, and just acknowledge that you did the best you could do today. Acknowledge that most of what happens in life is completely out of our control. A lot of it's random. And then notice yourself sitting, breathing, being present. Feel good about the effort you made. If your day was not great, and if your day was amazing, still feel good about that effort that you made. Keep that breath deep. And again, acknowledge that you showed up. You participated in big and little ways, and that energetically you moved forward on your journey. And anything that's clinging that's not positive, just put it aside. And anything that was wonderful, pull it in a little bit closer. Good. So now I want you to practice what we sometimes call ocean breath. And ocean breath is a technique where you're going to breathe in through your nose, slowly and deeply. And then start by exhaling through your mouth, but as you exhale, kind of do a doesn't sound very good when I do it. So you're breathing in through the nose. And as you exhale, so you feel the vibration at the back of your throat. You really feel that energy that you're creating as you're exhaling. So let's do it again. Inhale slowly and deeply. As you exhale, sounds pretty weird and awkward. So hopefully most of you are alone in your homes. Okay, so now we're going to modify that. You're going to do the same thing, but this time your mouth is going to be closed. And it's going to feel weird. You should kind of feel like you're Darth Vader, or that the ocean is at the back of your throat. So take a slow, deep breath in through the nose. Now we exhale. Breathing in. Exhale. And again, please inhale. And exhale. Good. And we're going to keep doing that. When I do that, a few times I've felt like Darth Vader. Sometimes it feels like there's a didgeridoo thing happening, if you know what a didgeridoo sounds like. It's really about that vibration. So the reason we do that is not to cause annoyance for anybody else in the room or feelings of awkwardness. We do that because that becomes our focus. And by focusing on one thing, like that sound, that vibration, we have the opportunity to push other stuff away, creating space. And when we push stuff away, it means that potentially our brains will settle and we won't have those racing thoughts. And the racing thoughts are what release the chemicals that will keep us awake or keep us from falling asleep. So it's all about training yourself to focus on one thing while everything else goes away. And if that one thing can be kind of an awkward noise, but a noise that you have to focus on in order to make it, it's a great thing to do. So we're going to sit here for probably a couple of minutes doing this noise. I'm going to do it quietly, so hopefully I won't distract your noises. And if you're not comfortable cross-legged, again, move to whatever position feels good. Relax your shoulders. Close your eyes. In through the nose. And ocean breath as you exhale. And let's take one more slow, deep breath in. And exhale with ocean breath. Good. It's a beautiful technique. If you wake up in the middle of the night and your brain is spinning, focusing on the breath. And I want you to keep using that breath tonight as we focus on some different postures. So the order of these postures that we're about to do doesn't matter, but these are all postures that have a greater likelihood to help the body relax and to prepare us for sleep. And we don't often think about preparing for sleep, but we should. We're going to be lying down for an extended period of time, usually on our side or on our back, which means if your body's already tense, or feeling the weight of the day or the weight of something that you haven't made peace with, it's a good thing to stretch and breathe that out before you tuck yourself in for that magical experience of sleep. So I'm going to invite you to join me in the child's pose. And this is why it's great to have cushions around, because I'm going to show you how to modify this posture. So child's pose is the one where we kind of slide ourselves forward. We're going to do this tonight with knees wider apart. And I've got all of these different cushions that I'm going to bring in. And you can use a rolled up blanket as well, like a bolster. This is also an Iyengar kind of trick that we're doing here. So, and if you don't have a bunch of cushions or blankets, don't worry about it. But you see that I've made this entire, like, looks like a sawhorse type contraption. And all I'm going to do is lift up through the core, and then I'm going to start to collapse down onto this, and I'm going to bring my head to the side. And if you want your head facing down, you can do that. You can be in whatever position feels cozy. And play around with your arms. Maybe they need to be forward. That feels good for my shoulders. Maybe your arms want to be here. Maybe they want to be here. Actually, that feels really good. So as you close your eyes here, do a physical check-in. See what's happening in the low back. We've done a lot of work around engaging and clenching the glutes, so make sure they're not engaged or clenched. Your whole low back is going to start to slowly stretch and release. If you're experiencing discomfort in the pose, shift your posture. And if negative thoughts or impatient thoughts start to enter your head, go back to that ocean breath. The other point I'll make before I let you actually rest for a little bit is treat this like a yin pose. So find your edge. I was feeling that I was straining there. So I'm going to move a cushion and see if I can find more comfort and a little bit more peace. And then for the next few moments, I invite you to turn your head to the other side and settle back in. Then move your head back to center. And releasing these postures takes a really gentle approach. So just start to gently lift. You want to be engaging the core. Don't just push, but actually lift through your core as you come up. And again, just kind of move the head around. keeping that breath really nice and deep. Good. Okay. I have to move some of these cushions out of the way. So I'm going to drop down. And again, that posture starts to stretch out the low back, very comforting, very relaxing. If I were in my home practice doing my own thing, I might hold that posture for 10 minutes and just actually drift off to sleep, because that's the best kind of yoga. So from here, I'm going to invite you to bring one leg out to the side. And again, with your props that you have handy, feel free to support your knee. Last week, I was really fond of the deep stretching we were doing, getting into the hamstrings. And we're not going to go that far today, but it's the same idea. Whatever it is that we've done to our body during the day, emotionally and also physically, we want to make peace with that. And in order to make peace with it, that takes a little bit of deep stretching. So even just sitting in this posture with a nice tight core, you're going to start to feel that nice stretch up the back of the leg. And then we just want to lift up, and let's just start to do a little bit of a twist towards the bent knee, and then just walking forward a little bit. You don't have to go too far. What I want you to focus on, please, is don't let that extended leg flop in. You want to keep the foot fairly active. And again, if you want to bring some extra cushions over, I'm just really digging using the cushions tonight. I'm just going to modify this a little bit. Very gentle. And if you had a chair, you could also be leaning on the chair, just like, looks like I'm kind of looking out, but you could just lean on a chair as well. So kind of wiggle yourself in. And go back to that beautiful ocean breath and block out the world. And then slowly start to pull back up. Take some deep breaths again. I just like to move the shoulders around. And then we're going to do a little bit of a lean to the extended leg. For this, I always try and line up the knee with the elbow. You don't have to do that. And I am going to take a very lazy arm up into the air. This is almost how, you start the day, this very like, oh. And once you've extended up and you're feeling that stretch through the side body, again, think about during the day, there's this constant downward pull through the side body. So just reach up, open it up, feel the lungs expanding through the intercostals. And then just gently starting to lean over, let your head kind of droop. And notice if there's discomfort. And just visit with it. Don't be upset with it. Don't fight with it, just have a visit, see what's going on. And then slowly reaching up, extending up. Let's bring the other arm up. Lengthening here, maybe flexing that foot. And then I'm going to invite you to just start to flop forward again, moving props perhaps. And you don't have to go far. Just make sure that I was going to call these my elbows. They're not, they're shoulders. Make sure your shoulders aren't jammed into your ears. And now you want to relax that foot. And again, this is a nice opportunity, you know, just kind of rub yourself. I guess there's a better way to say that. But just kind of any bit of tension that you're finding, again, visit with it, make peace with it. It's yours, and chances are you created it. Let's roll up. Again, bring the shoulders to the back body. And then we're going to get ready to move this to the other side with all of these wonderful cushions and props. So I'm going to extend one leg out, bring the other foot across. And I didn't really explain, but my foot's probably a little bit closer to the knee than sucked right up into the bathing suit area. And I do like to have a little bit of a prop, especially on this side for me. Good. So lifting up, flexing the extended leg, and this is where you want to start that external rotation. So just opening this up, that's going to keep everything aligned. We lift, we twist, and then make your little fort and start to sink forward. And I betcha that left and right side are feeling different, and that's just fine. Again, keeping that extended leg flexed and that foot pushing back. It's really the biggest effort you're going to be making here. And then we're going to start to pull up. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little drooly at this point. And use your imagination for a moment. Can you not just totally picture doing all of this stuff actually on a bed? You don't need a hard surface to do this. You could just be in your bed with all your covers around you, sleeping mask ready to go. And then when you're ready and you're done, just get rid of the cushions or the extra ones and just drift off. And your Shavasana in that case would actually lead you into a full night's sleep. Just a suggestion. So let's move to the opposite side here. Lifting up, I'm going to bring the elbow to the knee. Very lazy arm up into the air. And again, just kind of, you know, that sense of communicating with yourself. Read the mail, read the news, see what's happening. There's a story behind how you are physically feeling. Some of it's based on the physical things that you did over the past couple of days. And a lot of it has to do with our emotions, right? Were we stressed today? Were we rushing? Did we forget to get up and move and breathe? I'm going to bring the arm over. And by the way, none of that's a judgment. I'm not a good person to remember to do stuff with proper body mechanics. And extending back up, really lazy arm. Feel that length all the way up. and then the other arm comes up. And then we're gonna start to flop forward. Again, move whatever props you need to be comfortable. Sinking down. And this is where the extended leg, maybe a little bit of an ankle massage. And then lifting back up. And again, every bit of the way I'm doing this kind of, again, it's very much like a stim for me. But the minute I feel my shoulders start to relax because I don't have cartilage there and they get all really tight and sore. So when I feel them start to relax, which is not the shoulders, it's all the muscles and the connective tissues around the shoulders. But when that happens, I'm like, okay, guys, keep going. It's great. And again, in conjunction with that beautifully deep breath. So from this pose, we're going to make an easy move into the cobbler's pose. This is called a whole lot of different things. I've always called it cobbler because think about somebody making a shoe. I like that image. So all we do for the cobbler's pose is we bring the soles of the feet together. And because we're approaching this from a position of relaxation and basically surrender, often in the cobbler's pose, we're like this, and it's a very formal, rigid posture, a lot of core strength, and a lot of extension through the hip flexors. What I'm going to encourage you to do is slide supports under so that you have this nice opening, but you also have that support. And if you have thinner cushions, you can actually put them closer to your butt. That helps. They don't have to be right under the knees. You can also kind of tuck them under. Left and right side don't have to be even because it's Wednesday night. And as I said on Monday, by the time we get to Wednesday, we are just going to underachieve through the rest of the week. I should definitely be a motivational speaker. All right, so this actually feels pretty good for me. If it doesn't feel good for you, adjust. And if your low back is not comfortable with this, find something else that works. I'm going to go back to that ocean breath. My shoulders are going to move slightly more to the back body. I'm going to just start to dip my head a little bit. And as you're holding this posture, I want you to think of basically the mudras that we're creating. And mudras are energy locks. So this is a mudra, this is a mudra, this is a mudra. Prayer pose is kind of the famous one. We've created a mudra here with the legs, which means we're pulling in energy kind of through the butt. And we're circulating it here, energizing the root chakra, grounding, confidence, and moving up a little bit to the sacral chakra, which has to do with creativity and creation. And it's a real emotional and artistic center. It's an intuitive center. So that's what's happening here. When we add the arms, we're creating a secondary kind of circulation of that energy. that now not only includes the root and the sacral chakra, but it's including the solar plexus, which is our center of physical and emotional strength, coming up to heart center, love and compassion, and it's coming up to your throat as well, truth and communication. So just close your eyes, breathing deeply. And think about where you need to pull that energy for yourself. Where might there be maybe a deficit? Where might there be an area that you need a little bit of extra energetic attention? We don't do a lot for the throat in our postures, and that might be intentional for me because I spend most of my days interviewing people and talking to people and asking questions. But it's an important energy center to think about, and again, relating it back to sleep. Often what keeps us awake at night is that thought of, you know what I should have said? And it's those unspoken things that happen sometimes because we're blocked. We hold on to things, we stop things from flowing. So if that was an experience that you had today, take a deep breath in. Feel the energy rising from the root. Intentionally notice it around your throat. Let it feel cool. Let any blockages release. And understand that it's important to speak your truth. And that you will be heard. Good. So we're going to release this posture. And just as a little bit of a safety note, I always suggest that you slide your hands under and physically assist the knees. They don't need much help, but you're just kind of being mindful of the fact that, you know, you don't want to strain your groin in yoga class. That would not be fun. Okay. So we're going to come down to our backs now, and we're going to do a little bit of a variation of thread the needle. We want to continue to stretch out that low back. And then we're going to do another version of the cobbler's pose, but on our backs. So again, you're going to have an opportunity to use all of those great props. So I'm just going to push some of these out of the way. And hopefully everybody's feeling relaxed already. And we're just going to sink down to the back. And again, that little sense of find some motion. Let's do a little bit of somatic movement just to kind of bring some blood flow to that low back. So I'm going to bring my heels even closer to my bum. This is kind of a fun little activity to do. And the fact that I call this fun indicates that I need to get out more. Oh gosh. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise one hip up and then the other, and then the first hip comes down and then the second hip comes down, and then we reverse it. So I'll show you what I mean. So with my core nice and tight, I'm going to lift up on one side and then I'm going to lift up on the other side. So I got clearance. First side drops, other side drops, and then we reverse. So let me do this through left and right. That might be more sensible. Your arms can be wherever they need to be, and please make sure your knees are hip width apart and not floating out to the side just yet. Core is tight, please. Let's start with the left hip lifting, and then the right. Left comes down, and then the right. Right comes up, and the left. Right comes down, and the left. Lift through the left, lift through the right. Drop on the left, down on the right. Right comes up, and left. Right comes down, and left. Last time. Left up, right. Left comes down, right comes down. Pull your knees back into your tummy and give yourself a nice, slow hug. And feel that low back continue to expand. Check where that breath is at. If your mind is starting to race, or if you are feeling you are getting bored, just go back to the ocean breath. And again, I'm adding a little motion here, almost a little bit of a figure eight, massaging the low back. I'm working this with the breath. And then pulling the knees in to the tummy. And as I'm pulling them in, I'm letting my shoulders open, my chest is opening. I'm going to invite you to bring your hands right to the kneecaps. And I want you to breathe in deeply. And then as you exhale, push those knees in. As you inhale, slide the hands down the legs just a little ways. Exhale, push. Inhale, slide the hands down. Exhale, push. Inhale, slide your hands down. So now I'm at the ankles. Exhale, push. Inhale, release the tension. Stay here at the ankles. Exhale, push. Inhale, release the pressure. Slide up the leg a little ways. Exhale, push. Inhale, moving up the leg. Exhale, push. And finally, up to the knees. And exhale, push. Good. Let your feet gently come down to the floor. And I'm going to move my feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. We're going to be doing a very gentle rocking back and forth with the legs. I want you to be mindful if you have low back discomfort, I want you to skip this. You could do a little bit of a bridge lift up and down. or you could just bring the knees to the tummy. But if there are low back issues, totally leave this one out. Bring your hands to the tummy. Again, right over that solar plexus. Shoulders are back. And very slowly start to drop the left leg down. And I'm keeping my knees bent here. And then the right leg is going to follow the left. And then very slowly, again, your core needs to be somewhat engaged, so you're kind of holding on for that reminder. Bring that right knee up. You're going to feel the need to bring the left leg with it. And then right leg comes down to the side again. Left leg follows. Everything is connected. Left comes up, followed by right. Dropping to the right side, or sorry, the left side. And then back up. Moving to the right. All the way up. And moving to the left. All the way up. This time you're going to come down to the right. I'm going to start to slide that left leg a little bit closer. I'm going to come a little bit further over to the side. And if it's comfortable, you can bring that right foot up and over. You might have to negotiate this a little bit. That's going to give a bigger stretch on your left side through the hip, through the QL. I'm taking my left arm and extending it back. Deep breath here, please. Go back to that ocean breath. Don't hold it. And then we untangle the legs. Left leg comes up, followed by right. To make this a little bit easier, I probably should have set it up this way last time. It's okay, I got it now. So left legs, keep the feet a little bit closer together. This thought I was going to complete that I've now completed. Left leg drops down, followed by the right. And again, if it feels comfortable, you can just bring that left foot on top. You know it's a problem when I start relaxing so much. I'm like, oh, I could just stay here all night. But I'm going to focus. I'm going to get us through this, I promise. And then untangling and bring the knees back up to center. Okay, we're getting close to the end. Tight through the core, knees come up. We're going to do a nice leg extension. You can do this against a wall and it feels great. I'm not going to get you guys to scooch to walls right now because everybody's in a different place and we have different furniture. But if you get a chance, this is also a posture that I will sometimes do in my bed. And it's just as simple as a leg extension. And so imagine if you were in a bed, like my headboard would be basically where my butt is. That makes sense? And you extend your legs and then the heels are just kind of resting on the wall. If you struggle with tight pectorals, bring your arms up and back into a cactus. this posture sends a message to your brain saying, relax. I have no idea why. It seems to make no sense, but it works. And if I'm at the end of my day and I'm tired and I'm cranky, and I get really cranky when I'm tired. Actually, I'm cranky a lot of the time, but especially when I'm tired. And if my brain just won't stop, it's just spinning. If I'm working on a story and I'm just trying to figure something out, it's always working. And so I've been known to take this posture in the bed as a way to get my brain to settle so I can go to sleep. I will tell you, sometimes you have to explain to your partner that this is not an invitation to action, which, especially when the partner does not do any yoga, right? They don't understand this is a yoga posture. Poor Dano, I shouldn't talk about him, but he doesn't understand. So just a warning, folks. Make sure people know that this is a relaxation pose. All right, so we're going to turn this into a really nice final stretch. Left leg crosses over right, bend at the knees, pull everything in. This is our thread the needle. And at this point, because I'm actively getting into some tightness in my hips, I'm not going to do ocean breath. I'm going to do big, loud, in through the nose, exhale sounds. Again, that final sense of anything that is causing you an issue, anything that has been clinging to you, anything that no longer serves you, that's been a pain in your butt all day or all week or whatever it is, breathe in deeply, breathe in that strength, and then get rid of it. Just let it go. Slowly untangle, stretch those legs back up into the air. Maybe some foot circles. Stretch your toes. And then the other way, which I think is right over left. Bending and pulling down. Again, deep, loud breaths. For the folks who have amazing dogs in their lives, I find with a lot of postures, the dogs get excited. They think something exciting is going on. They want to get in on the action. But when I start doing breath work, they chill right out. They just get it. It's like they know stuff is being released. And dogs want us to be happy. Dogs want us to be relaxed. They're so good at that. It's why when we pet a dog, cats too, for the cat people, after a few minutes, it starts to release oxytocin, which is a happy chemical that helps us to relax. It's the love and the trust hormone. So you breathe deeply, attract the dogs and do some petting. Okay. Untangle. Again, think about this. If you were in your bed right now, you could just slide into whatever dang posture you wanted. Put on the eye mask, whatever else you have. But right here, you have an option to do a little bit of leg on chair, or just grab the cushions. Make sure there's a little bit of something under your knees, and just surrender into this. Close your eyes, relax the hips. you continue to rest in this posture, starting to drift, I want to remind you again about what I was saying at the start of the class tonight, which is that your brain doesn't know the difference between a thought, what's happening in real life around you, a memory, or your imagination. It's all the same. Positive thoughts and positive memories release happy chemicals, things like serotonin, which help you relax. These are things that can also make you feel ready to have a good night's sleep. So I want you to think for a moment to one good or beautiful moment in your day. What I try and do is every day, at least I found this when I started looking for this, that every single day somebody says something nice to you. It might only be online, but generally on most days you have received a compliment. So think back to what beautiful thing happened to you today, or beautiful thought or word or gift of praise that somebody shared with you. And really think about it. And as you think about it, own it. Don't shy away from it. Don't be the compliment receiver who says, oh, no, no, no. Embrace it. And understand that whatever that beautiful thing was that was shared with you, it was shared because you are beautiful and you deserve it. And you should have joy. So as you think of that moment, your brain is responding. And your brain's going to flood you with these beautiful, happy chemicals that make it easier to let go of the negative, make it easier to be hopeful for what will come tomorrow, and hopefully to make it easier for you to sleep well tonight. If you're willing to take it one night at a time, life gets a whole lot easier to face. So with that, start to gently move your head from side to side. Keep that breath deep. You can do that moaning kind of thing. I do that when I eat really good food, and I've been eating a lot of lobster this week. So when I eat lobster, especially if I'm alone, I'm like, ah. So make those noises. Enjoy it. Nobody's going to worry about it. And then whatever posture you're in, try and stretch it out. Maybe reach the arms up over top of your head. Maybe stretch out your legs. And then give yourself a hug. Really grab onto yourself and hug yourself tight and feel your shoulders or your legs or your body. Feel yourself with your hands. I mean, not in a creepy way. I mean, that's okay, but really feel your essence, your being, your energetic self, and understand that you are perfect. And then release that hug, start to move into a seated position if you would like to. If you just want to stay on the floor and go to sleep, that's cool too. And then just bring those hands to the heart, holding that beautiful, compassionate energy where you need it the most. Fueling yourself so you can have a restorative sleep, so that you can make the world amazing again tomorrow. And that's where we end our practice. I will say namaste, and I hope sweet dreams. And I hope that this works for you guys and that you have the most peaceful, restorative sleep ever.